Welcome into the Saints post-game show. The Saints getting a 24-20 win at Tampa Bay. It was a great game from start to finish. The offense got out early. They had a 7-0 lead after the first drive of the game. The defense held up at the very end. Scott, when you look at this game, in it from start to finish, what are a couple of things that stood out to you that the Saints did well?
Well, I think the fast start was pivotal, especially in a game like this where the weather became a factor. Jumping out, going right down the field, 7-0 lead. Yes, Tampa answered with that, but I think it kind of set the tone for the day. That the Saints came to play. They usually play well in Tampa. And the other thing, as we talked about in the pregame show, is how well the Saints defense has been playing lately. Coach Staley has that unit playing really well, I would say the last 4 or 5 games, and they did it again today.
Yeah, when you look at the way that the Saints were able to move the ball offensively, you mentioned the weather, it started pouring. And you started getting a little concerned, like, okay, they're going to have to go to their run game because there were interceptions back and forth on both sides because obviously it's a little harder to hold on to a ball in that situation. But the run game was working.
Yeah, the run, and we said the pregame show, we'll just give up on the run game and just let Tyler throw it all around the yard. That didn't need to happen today because the running game came to play. Devin Neal played outstanding. Tyler's legs were probably the difference in the game. And the play designs by Coach Moore, you got to give Coach Moore a lot of credit for designing them. It wasn't like they were broken down drop back passes that Tyler was taking off and making plays. These were designed quarterback runs that he saw something. He saw a weakness in the Tampa Bay defense and took advantage of it. So great play calling offensively. Like I said, the first drive of the game, I think, set the tone for the day.
What's interesting because the Tampa Bay defense has done very well against the run. So to be able to find a weakness and attack it, Tyler Shuck gets in for his first touchdown. It was with his legs, 2 rushing touchdowns today for him. And then Devin Neal also scores his first career touchdown. So all 3 Saints touchdowns today coming on the ground.
Yeah, Devin looked really good. I think the offensive line in these type of elements, it really comes down to offensive line versus defensive line football. They have an outstanding player in Vita Vea. They did a good job, but their strength this season has been containing the football, keeping it inside, eliminating these perimeter runs. And that's why I give Coach Moore a lot of credit. He found a way to design these runs to attack the strength of their defense, because I'm sure going in the defense, they're probably looking at it the same way. No one's really going to do this to us because we've been stopping it all year. So, outside of the running game being a big surprise and getting that going and seeing just how much that benefits your team, I would say the red zone. Being 2 for 3 in the red zone was outstanding.
Yeah, the Saints are able to get into the end zone early and then continue throughout. We talked about finishing games for the Saints as well. It was 17-17 from the end of the third quarter, and the Saints are able to go in, get into the end zone again. It was a 13-yard touchdown run, a great scramble by Tyler Shuck there, avoided a couple defenders, and he gets in to make it 24-17, and you were able to hold on and get the win 24-20. You do allow a field goal, but then at the end of the game, the Bucs had the ball with the last opportunity, 2 minutes to go, and you hold them again. So the defense, it was actually some good complimentary football.
It was really good complimentary football. And I think the encouraging thing for me and for all fans should be, it came to the moment in today's game where, maybe in the past couple games or past couple weeks or really the majority of the season, it's a tight game, it's a tie game. Are you going to make the plays that separate yourself? And the Saints did that today. You go back to earlier in the fourth quarter, Kool-Aid McKinstry's hit on Godwin to knock that ball loose, where he has a sure first down. His heels are on the line. He's just going to fall out of bounds. Most DBs push him out of bounds. Kool-Aid knocks the ball free. Those were the type of plays that you saw show up in today's game. Difference-making plays, those 5, 6, 7 plays in NFL games that determine the outcome.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. In the red zone, the Bucs struggled. They had some big runs. They had that one-yard rushing touchdown, but they weren't able to do what they have been doing to people, and that's really attack them in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And, the Saints, I think, were looking for opportunities for turnovers. They had a couple near interceptions. So that, combined with the weather conditions, does put a different kind of pressure on an offense.
Yeah, there's no doubt. There'll be a lot of people, nationally that'll look at the box score and see the Bucs ran the ball fairly effective. They outran the Saints, but it was the third down defense and even fourth down. Looking at 2 for 7 on fourth down, the Bucs. So they had to go for a lot of fourth down conversions because of what the Saints were doing to them all day defensively. But you're going to win a lot of games. Like I said, you look at the box score, a lot of penalties. Coach Moore's not going to be happy with the penalties popping back up. Some of those led to first downs. But when you run the football and you play third down defense like this and you take advantage of your opportunities in the red zone, you can still overcome a lot of those things, and they proved that today.
Yeah, it was a really good game. I think that it proved a lot of what the Saints have been talking about and harping on, that they have the ability to do those things.
Yeah.
You have the ability to start fast. You have the ability to create a run game, to finish a game, to put pressure on a quarterback. I mean, Baker Mayfield is a tough quarterback to try to contain. Yes, he was able to break
And he made some plays just because he does that. Yeah.
But you didn't allow it to break you.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of good that you can take from this game.
No question. We said, in the pregame show, Baker's tough when he gets out of the pocket. He likes to get out. He likes to scramble. He's second in the NFL in normal drop back passes turning into scramble plays, backyard football plays, recess plays. And he did some of those things today. But you didn't allow some of those plays to cripple you. He made plays because he's in the NFL. He's a good player. But you didn't allow those plays, especially throwing the ball downfield, letting those extended plays turn into bombs down the field and big-time pass plays. So I think that was the encouraging thing. The Saints defense continues to play better every single week. And last week, when we did the show, you hear guys continually in the postgame press conference talk about how they're playing hard for one another. And I said, that's not a little thing. A lot of teams at this point in the season, it's an independent contractor business. They're still talking about playing hard for one another. And that's why you continue to see growth in players and this team.
Yeah, a couple players that we saw step up playing for each other. Taysom Hill and Devon Vele. They laid two really good blocks that allowed Tyler Shuck to get out and get that touchdown run. It was his early one, the 34-yard touchdown. But it was because of the players around him stepping up into roles. And it's not something that a lot of players really like to do,
No.
is being a part of that blocking, the run game, especially when, Taysom Hill hasn't had the season he probably wanted, but he is still sacrificing himself, doing those little get in the dirt things that you appreciate and that help lead to big moments.
Absolutely. And yes, Tyler probably took some of Taysom's plays today with some of these run plays we're watching. Normally you're seeing these are Taysom package plays or Taysom time plays, but you're taking advantage and throwing a defense off, keeping them on their heels, because everybody knows you put 7 in at quarterback, everybody's automatically thinking, hey, watch for the run. But now you leave Tyler in there, and he hasn't really ran the ball out of design runs, and you still have Taysom in there, so you're wondering, trick play, what are we going to get out of this? No, it's just Taysom being an outstanding football player, doing the dirty work that a lot of people don't like to do, blocking the edge and setting his quarterback free.
Yeah, somebody that did get a lot more run and is going to continue to get that run is Devin Neal, as we've seen the injury to Alvin Kamara. In today's game, he had 19 carries for 70 yards and 1 touchdown. Mentioned it was his first career touchdown. What have you seen in his game, and how is he progressing over the last few weeks now that he is getting called upon more?
Yeah, I think when they drafted Devin out of Kansas, the thing that jumped out was his production. He was one of the most productive players in Kansas Jayhawk history. So you like that from a player, but then you never know, is it going to translate to the NFL? Is he going to be able to play at the next level? Because a lot of times there's productive college players that don't have great NFL careers. But when Devin was in there a few weeks ago and he was picking up pressures as a running back, as a rookie, knowing who to go to and where the edge pressure is coming from, those are little things where you're like, this guy's kind of wise beyond his years. And now he's taking advantage of getting the ball in his hand, making some plays. And I'll tell you what, he got knocked coming out because of his 40 time probably at the combine. That's why a lot of people are like, what type of back is he going to be? But he looks explosive. He puts his foot in the ground. He changes directions well. And he's doing a good job taking advantage of his opportunities.
Yeah, I didn't know, but we have a 1-2 punch in Devin Neal and Tyler Shuck.
Yeah, there you go.
He definitely showed that aspect of his game as he's continued to show confidence in the pocket and an ability to extend plays when things do start to break down. And you mentioned a couple of them were designed runs for Shuck because he does have that ability in his arsenal. When you look at the rest of the offense, Devon Vele led the receivers with 40 yards. He was 3 of 5, so not a ton of looks, but he was really effective when he did get opportunities.
Yeah, again, another encouraging sign, and I think a lot of those, I think he would have had more targets. Chris would have had more targets. The ball would have been in the air a lot more had the weather not come into play. So we all understand that. But it kind of made the Saints say, we have to run the ball. This is what we have to do today because the conditions demand it. Our defense is playing well, and they won a tough, gritty game. But I think Vele, another outstanding sign. Go back to last week against the Dolphins, and again this week. That big-bodied receiver who can give you those tough yards over the middle, running those deep in routes, those deep in-breaking routes. Those are tough routes to cover when a quarterback puts it on time and you have that type of catch radius and that type of frame. So keep utilizing his body size and take advantage of that mismatch.
We're waiting for Coach Moore to take the podium, and I'm sure he's probably wanting to get a shower, dry off. Like it rained the entire time. It looked like it was going to stop at half. And then as soon as they came back out for the second half, it started pouring again. How hard is that as far as having to change the game plan, how much you game plan for it going into it. And then as those conditions are piling on, like, it's not got to be fun to play in that.
It's not fun, but I'll tell you, if you're winning and then the precipitation comes in, you like it because it's a huge advantage for you. If you're not and you need to fight your way back in the game and throw the ball, you don't like it as much. But I'll tell you, we play a kid's game. There's no doubt about it. And there's something, too, about the precipitation when it rains or snows. Most players would rather play in the snow. Rain is kind of miserable, but it kind of takes you back to playing on the recess in the parking lot.
All right, well, it sounds
All right.
like so
Fun game, fun battle.
I
I thought just our guys' mindset and the way they prepared this week. Obviously, when you've only won a couple games during the season, there's a lot of adversity you faced. And so for our guys to come out and have the energy and the physicality that they played with, I thought was credit to our guys. They're a special group, a group that keeps playing. And all three phases, I felt, contributed to this game back and forth. And so it was a really challenging game for both teams. And so it was big for our guys to come away with the win.
Can you walk us through your view of that second touchdown for Tyler?
Yeah, the longer one, the short one. Yeah, the scramble. Yeah, that was a big-time play by Tyler. Pass play on first down, trying to get ourselves an opportunity. They did a good job jamming the receivers, and so we kind of got caught up. Got a little messy on the backside, and so for him to scramble and make a play like that, it seemed like there's scrambles a lot of times on the touchdowns against these guys on film, and lo and behold, another one showed up.
And, I mean, just considering the conditions today, I'm sure you were assuming rain was going to be part of the forecast, but, when it gets the way it did, did y'all have to kind of change things on the fly and lean more into the run game during this game?
Yeah, second half for sure. The rain was substantial. It reached a point where, obviously it was going to impact the game much more. First half was kind of off and on. That was good for us to get the first possession of the game, to have the ball right there right before it rained, because obviously we knew the rain was coming quick. So that was a big drive for us. And then I thought our guys ran the football really well in that second half. I thought it was a good response by our guys, and the physicality showed up.
You guys have now beat Callan, both teams that are tied for first in the division. You have both on the road. Just make the record. How much does that tell you how close you guys are to that record?
Yeah, our guys have faced a lot of adversity this year. They've grown a lot as we've gone through this journey, and so I think for our guys to keep battling, keep giving ourselves opportunities like this, I think division games are important no matter what. Every single year it's important. You play these guys multiple times every single year. There's going to be big battles in the future and future years too, and so it's every opportunity in a division game is huge.
No, this is just like one data point out of a lot of them for Tyler. But you see the rookie put together that game, lead a game when you drive in the fourth quarter. What was that tell you?
Yeah, I thought resiliency was awesome. Really good first drive for us. I thought we kind of got stuck there for a while. Much of the second quarter was a little lethargic there, and we just weren't executing at a very high level. And so then for our guys to respond, I thought in the second half, certainly with the run game, but then making plays when he had to. Some big third downs. I thought Vele and CO made some big-time third downs. Jawan made some third downs in there. Seemed like there's timely plays by those guys.
I think you guys had 5 stops on fourth down today. A couple of them big late in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, just credit to our defense, big time. Fourth downs, big time plays, whether it's the run game or the pass game. Run game, big time stops. Grando made the big tackle for loss. Kool-Aid on the sideline. There's the play where there's a catch and he's physical at the catch point and makes it a bobble catch. And so credit to our guys. They made some big time plays.
What do you think Devin did today?
Yeah, Devin was awesome. Really cool to see him go out there and play the way he did. Really lead that run game, the physicality he played with, the finish that he played with, and then even on the third downs, I thought the check down completion, he makes a play there and gets a first down. That was huge in this game.
Yeah, just the physicality up front in general.
Yeah, just proud of our guys, the way they played. The resiliency. There's not everything was going to be perfect in a football game. You just keep battling, keep going through it. I thought that drive to start the second half was really, really important for us, and the way, it's pretty much a run every time, and they came off the ball and made some plays.
Touch on this a little bit, but is a game like this can it be pivotal or a turning point for a rookie's confidence going forward, meaning shout, just all the things that were stacked against him, the weather, it's a tough team.
Yeah.
Do you look at it like that?
These are great opportunities for him to learn. You're going to play on the road, a really good opponent. This opponent's going to be battling all the way to the end. And then the weather obviously became a little bit of a factor, and so we had to face that. And so, I thought his resiliency was really special.
Did you guys consider challenging it? It was estimated that third down run near the goal line.
Yeah. It was a little bit of a tricky thing because initially we viewed it the way it came in. It looked like it was being reported as a first down, and so we tried to go tempo in the reverse scenario to try and make sure we can snap the football fast because they initially it looked like it was a first down, and then they kind of pulled it back and turned it into 4th and 1, and then we weren't able to get the replay there, and so that was a little bit of a challenging situation for us, and so we weren't able to get it done.
It was like a game clock issue then, because he
Assumed it was first down, went tempo because obviously felt like it was close either way. Then it got pulled back to a fourth and short, and we weren't able to get the camera just because we were already in tempo, and so usually TV is going to go right to the live action in those scenarios. So a little bit tricky.
You know what happened on the interception between communication and Chuck and Olave?
Yeah, just not on the same page. Obviously something for those two guys to work through. Didn't get done.
But just for you personally, I mean, like, having been through a challenging season, what's it like getting to experience the game locker room and that sort of thing?
Yeah, it's a good win for our guys. It's awesome. Again, for our guys to be battling, playing December football, still playing meaningful December football, maybe in a little bit of a different way than you hope. Obviously, I think our guys are battling for each other. They're playing for each other. They want to win all these. And, I thought just the way our guys responded for 4 quarters was really special.
Did you run down and celebrate the touchdown there?
Tyler? Yeah. I got down there pretty far, yeah.
Any update on Austin Richards?
Yeah, we'll see. He's got an ankle. So he wasn't able to return. We'll get the update tomorrow.
You touched on the shorter touchdown run by Tyler, but can you take the play call not behind the design run with
The longer one was a read option play where, we're using some motion to create some lead blockers for him. Used the play a couple times. He pulled, and, it was really a special run by him. I mean, for him to open up and run away from some people, and it was really a big-time play.
It was the same play as the one that worked in the first quarter, right?
Similar, very similar. We used a few read option plays for him this game, and so, a couple different variations, but certainly it showed up a number of times in this game.
Does that, I mean, you all ran for like 148 yards today. Does Tyler and his ability as a runner open things up for the guys in the run game?
I think it's a big part, especially when you play Todd and the way Tampa's going to play defense. He does a phenomenal job stopping the run. Can't remember how many times I feel like we've played Tampa, and it's been really, really brutal to try and run the football. And so big-time credit to our guys. I thought Tyler having that ability to run the football obviously played a factor into it. And so big-time plays by our guys.
The 4-minute offense, obviously, and you're able to run the clock today, you're able to move the ball in the midfield. Just how important is that to closing a game?
Yeah, the 4-minute offense is obviously big. It's not all run game. There's going to be hard third downs in there. You got to get conversions. I thought our guys did some really good stuff. We got it bleed down a little bit. Obviously, we would have loved to get one more first down and finish it off the right way, but credit to our defense. They responded really well, and to get that 4th down stop was big time.
Would you make I mean, obviously you got to watch film, but like first man hits a call, so you make a couple huge plays for you all today. Would you just make it?
Granderson?
Yeah.
Yeah, big time. Two tackles for loss, game ball worthy, big time plays. I thought our guys were relentless. Baker made some big time plays on 3rd down using his legs, and I think that's the challenge when you play these guys is Baker can make those extended plays, and so that showed up in the game. That was a challenge for our guys, but our guys just to keep battling was really cool. All right, all good.
Cramp up, boy.
Go ahead, Luke.
Monday, I think you guys had 5 stops on 4th down today, but How crazy is it just to be out there so much on that down and that position or that team together?
Man, I think coming into it, man, we just knew, they were going to be aggressive. And, with those 4th down plays, we were expecting them to go for them. And so I think Coach Staley came up with the right game plan throughout the week. We communicated on the back end and throughout the whole defense, and we were just able to just, get the stops. I think we've kind of been doing that all year. Every now and then we might lose one here or there, but I think we've done really good with getting stops.
Does that change anything mentality-wise when you go into a game figuring you're going to be on the field on 4th down?
Nah, I think, when our numbers called, I think we've done really good in situational football. I think we've done really good with, sudden change. And so that just kind of just an extra play. Shoot, if we have to play 6 downs, we got to play 6 downs. I think we held each other's backs today.
And can you walk us through your pick?
Yeah, Coach Staley making a really good call, seeing the formation, and just playmakers going to make plays, and just jumped the route, knew what it was, seen it, and just went for it.
What was kind of the vibe when you guys punted the ball to him, 2 minutes left in the game, you got a protected lead? What was the vibe going on the field?
Man, just play sound defense. Nobody has to do anything special. Put our eyes in the right place, do our job, and I think if we do that. I told the guys, if we do that, we'll be fine, and that's what we did. Flew around, everybody had their eyes in the right place. Could have ended it there with the pick, but just getting us another down, another chance was what we was looking for. I think he just hit his hands and he just dropped it. So we'll get him throughout the week.
What'd you make of Kool-Aid's play on that 4th down?
Oh my goodness. Man, I went up to him and told him, I was like, bro, I don't think you realize how big of a play that was. Because some guys, in that situation, they kind of be like, oh, man, he kind of just caught the ball 1st down. But he came up and finished him to the ground and, gave our offense the ball in a really good situation and spot. And those guys got to do something with that. And so I just told him, like, bro, that play was huge. To me, that's just as big as an interception. And I think he started to realize, like, yeah, that is a big play. But Kool-Aid's been making plays, man, all year long. So super excited for him, and his growth is going in a good place.
Putting together a win against a team that's won the last 4 division titles, doing their place in national conditions.
Yeah, we had a blast, man. I just kept telling them boys in the huddle, it's like being a kid again, out there in the rain. A lot of people will say that we don't have nothing to play for, but I think we do. I know within this defense, we're still trying to be a top 10 defense, and we're right there, man. And so, we go out there every single play, just trying to earn our respect, man. And I think that's what we're doing. And I think, the other side of the ball, they did good today. Tyler running the ball really well, Devin running the ball really well, offensive lineman blocking, guys finding ways to get open, and Tyler just keeping his eyes downfield. So tight ends catching the ball. I mean, I think today we did a really good job, and especially, with that kickoff at the beginning of the game with Tipton running the ball. And so I think we just played complimentary football today, and I think all 3 levels played good.
Did you have an advantage point at all with go-ahead touchdown run by Tyler in the game?
Say that one time.
Were you able to see that go-ahead run by Tyler?
Yeah, I seen it. I told him, I said, boy, I'm so glad he didn't go out of bounds or do anything like that. He put his head down, he got in there. But Tyler's a tough guy, man. Super excited about what he's doing now and what he'll do for the future.
That's all I got.
Okay, cool, bet. Thank y'all.
That was head coach Kellen Moore and cornerback Alontae Taylor after the 24-20 win over the Bucs. And Alontae Taylor had an interception in that game, big moment. It was 10-7 coming out of the half, and first drive the Bucs were about to have ends up in an interception, and the Saints get the ball back, and then they go on to score. So that was I would say, another way to set the tone coming off of the first drive of the game, the way you set the tone to start the game, and then continuing it.
Yeah.
Start the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of we look at a lot of times you want to start the game fast, obviously, and they did that today. But that first possession out of halftime, you go in at halftime, everybody sits down, you make your adjustments, and you want to start fast in the second half.
All right, well, let's hear from the quarterback, Tyler Shuck.
Like, is it like you experience a win? Obviously, you get the Carolina one, but like coming here in this one 4 straight, to get the go-ahead scoring like that was actually.
I mean, this is why you play football. You know, you come in here in the elements, just with all your boys, with all your teammates, and we fought really hard. And, you know, was really proud of the O-line, just kind of chugging along the whole way. Did a really good job in protection. The defense was making huge stops. You know, I think we did a better job of being a little bit more complimentary, and was just proud of all of our guys. You know, it kind of took everybody, so it was just a lot of fun. That's the kind of thing I'm kind of resonate with me right now. It was just a lot of fun, and I think it just shows kind of how we are as a team. He was awesome. He was his usual self. You know, I think, you know, what we love about him is he's the same dude. You know, win or loss, I think obviously, you know, it stings a lot more when you lose. But at the end of the day, you know, you look back on how you can get better, you know, how you can improve, and same thing with a win. So, you know, it was hard fought, and but a win's a win, and you know, it's awesome, you know, being there with all the guys. And
Can you walk us through the go-ahead touchdown?
Yeah, no, you know, we were getting, you know, Taysom on their linebacker for, you know, maybe a pylon wheel shot, and, you know, it kind of got all muddied up at the end. So was just trying to get out there, make a play, and you know, just saw green grass and went for it. So, you know, it was a really good job just driving the whole way down the field, and, you know, getting down there. So, you know, stuff like that happens, and you got to go for it.
When you're making plays with legs like that, did you feel that maybe softened up stuff for that end and Roderick and that end and all that?
100%. I mean, I think anytime we can be balanced, throwing the ball, you know, me, you know, running it as well, and then it opens up. You know, they did a really good job. Devin ran his butt off, and all those guys kind of came in and stepped up big time, especially just because the grass was so beat up. You know, running and that was tough for those guys, and they were getting dirty yards, and I was really proud of them. You know, they played their butts off.
And how tough were the conditions today? I mean,
Yeah.
Pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, you sank, you know, a few inches into the grass quite a bit, so it was pretty rough. But it's part of it, you know. I mean, that's why you do it, and, you know, everybody was prepared. So it was a lot of fun. You know, there's no excuses. You know, we got out there, and, you know, you got to drive the football.
But I mean, I'm assuming you all had it planned for weather today. But that it seemed like you leaned really heavy into the run game and probably made the football a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, especially when it's pouring down like that, you know, it's tough to hang on to the ball when you're throwing it like that, and you know, especially when you're driving. But, you know, they did a good job of switching them out when we could, and but yeah, you got to get those dirty yards, and then throw it when you need to, and it's just part of it. You know, that's why you do it.
Do you feel the confidence growing with each game, each start?
100%. Yeah, I feel every single practice. You know, I've said it, you know, every single week. You know, I feel my confidence growing. You know, more and more. Just the ability to go out there, you know, put points on the board any way we can. So, you know, there's a lot of plays that, you know, we can look at, and, you know, I can look at and continue to grow with. But was just really proud of everybody, especially against a defense like that and in those conditions, to kind of turn out a win.
How did it feel to do some damage with your legs? You're known for your arm, but you had a couple big plays there with your legs.
Yeah, my mindset is, you know, get it done any way I can. You know, that's why you play football. So, you know, I'll kind of continue to look back how we can continue to grow as a team and an offense. But, you know, I think we all played well together, and, you know, that was a lot of fun.
I feel like we've asked you guys a billion times those slow starts, so to get the big return from the tip and then capitalize on that right away. How important was that feel?
It was great. You know, it was a great feeling just driving down the field. You know, just operating our game plan. You know, playing fast, playing clean, and that was our whole message. You know, and whenever we were slowed up, you know, we had the penalties, and I think it was self-inflicted wounds. So, you know, we can look back, and, you know, it starts with me, just clear communication, getting everybody lined up, getting everybody's feet set. So I think that's, you know, we look back at it, and that's when we had those drives stall out. So, you know, I was proud of how we came out of the gate, you know, hot, and we just got to continue to sustain that the whole game.
I'm assuming it was a miscommunication with Chris on the.
Yeah. I was just thought he was going to keep going, you know, converting as well, and on converting it. But ultimately, you know, it's my fault. So you know, we'll get to a better play, and you know, that's on me. Just miscommunication, and, you know, part of it. But I think was really proud of him, just kind of, you know, especially all those guys running routes, you know, staying friendly in some of their zones, winning versus man. So he did a great job all game, and we'll kind of continue to just, you know, develop that chemistry. And ultimately, it's on me.
And then you walked us through the 34 yarders
Yeah, ran it previously in the game and tried to circle it, with Juwan wrapped around, and knew if we got that look again and there was a seam, and I was going to try and hit it. So just kind of blacked out at that point, to be honest.
And then, obviously, like you guys want to be able to close it off in the 4-minute offense.
Yeah.
But to have the defense go.
Yeah, it was huge. That's the worst feeling as an offense when you have the game in your hands like that and you can run it out. What we were doing. Felt Vele was open. It kind of got tipped, and it was an awkward play. Looking back, if it's close at all, could just just slide there and run the clock out as much as we could. So it's tough, bang play, but I think it just kind of shows the resiliency of our defense. Their mindset. It's unbelievable. They're showing up. They're on the field way too much. So they stepped up big at the end.
Out of two teams that you beat on the road are playing it for first place in the division, you guys are going to be watching them in the playoffs. Does that give you a sense of how close you could be, maybe carry some of that momentum over?
Yeah. It's the thing I'm learning, every single week playing in the NFL is it's anybody's game. It doesn't matter the record. It doesn't matter, who you're going against. There's going to be some of the greatest guys you've ever played against on their defense, and they have a really great scheme, so we got to be prepared for the challenge. So that's my mindset, is just go out there. We can beat anybody. Whenever we're stalling out, we're beating ourselves. But I think that's why you play the game and knowing just how close we have been on some of those losses, and how we can kind of flip it on its head and keep producing those big plays and get those wins.
I think Devin, first rushing touchdown today. I think it's probably career high in rushing, but I think your go-ahead touchdown run, I think that was set up by that short dump that Henry turned up field on 3rd and 7.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, what do you think of his overall
Yeah,
game?
he's one of the best running backs I've ever played with, just from a mindset standpoint, his knowledge of the game, protections, running the football, getting north and south. He's such a great pass catcher as well. So I think he's just an all-down back that and obviously I'm really close with him off the field, so have complete trust in him. And we were talking to each other the whole game. Hey, we're going to win this thing. Me and you, let's put it on our backs, go out there and win it. Talking the O-line, let's put those drives together. So just a lot of fun, and was really proud of him.
Does it mean anything to you at all if you open up some eyes to you as a NFL football player this year playing field? Do you hear people that say it's pretty good, you just focus on
I really care about what the guys in the locker room think of me and my coaches. So for me, I want to instill that belief that we can win every single game, because we can. So however we can get it done, I just love playing football. I said it last week. This is why you do it. So I think there's going to be highs and lows with everything, but for me it was just a great win to go out there with all the guys.
Any concrete season objectives as you wrap up your rookie season? Is it just win every game?
Yeah, we that's our goal week to week. I think we got to go out there and we know what we can put together as a team, and just kind of keep getting better, and the wins are going to happen.
Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you.
Devin Neal.
Got you. For sure.
I think everybody else.
All good.
Did you get a game ball today?
I did. That was special. It was a special moment, for me, and not only for me, but for this team, and I just think it's a representation of who we are. We could easily just be down in the dumps, go about it in the wrong way and not focus on getting wins, and everyone focus on themselves and how they can continue to elevate their stats. But, at the end of the day, we fight for each other, and I think that represents our culture as a whole, and I'm just excited to keep on building with this team for sure.
And Tyler was just saying that he kind of went up to you and he said, you and me, let's go.
Yeah. I just think we kind of just play off each other in a weird way. Like, we have that connection, especially off the field. I think that helps on the field as well. And I remember saying to him and a bunch of the other offensive guys, it starts and ends with us. I think, coming out of that half, it was big for us to get the ground game running, and I think we did that. I think it's going to come down to who can do it the best, and especially with the elements is what they were. So it was really cool to see how we were staying ahead of sticks, being efficient, and really just playing winning football.
I think your 21-yarder today, man, kind of the first 20-plus yard from
Yeah.
Saints running back this year. I guess to lead into that, does Tyler being so mobile open things up for everybody else? Like you see more lanes because people got to consider him as a runner?
You know, honestly, I mean, I think it could be a part of it. I'm not 100% sure, but you know, I just think, you know, him as a player, like he's so very versatile, you know, and everyone kind of counts out his wheels, but you know, he takes two, you know, whatever it was, 20-plus yard touchdowns, you know, and that's another part of his game that's very underrated, and that people are, I think, hopefully they're starting to notice that, you know, he deserves to be in this league. He deserves to be a starter. He deserves to get all the recognition that he deserves because he's a really well-built quarterback, and he's really good in this league. And you can just see him keep growing with more confidence and taking over the team, taking over the huddle. And, you know, those are things you want to see out of your quarterback. So it's been really cool to watch this continue to develop. And, you know, there's still things we got to clean up, and we know we got to be better. But, you know, there was no better feeling than coming to the locker room and winning this game today.
Does it matter for a team, for a locker room, whatever, to have a quarterback go out and make a play in the fourth quarter, put the team ahead? Like, is that just like that? Is it going to be overemphasized?
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily overemphasized, but, you know, I think there's another confidence there that, you know, when the defense makes a pivotal stop, that they have the confidence that our offense is well ran and that we're going to be efficient, that we're going to do the right thing, we're going to stay ahead of the sticks and, you know, ultimately win the game for the team. You know, I just think that just continues to build on the confidence of the entire team. And that's why we're in this position now to where we can continue to fight, continue to battle, and hopefully continue to win down the line.
It might have been on that last step on that touchdown drive, the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Like third and seventh play, Tyler dumped it off to you.
Yeah.
Like, what you see after the catch? Did you see a lane there? Or?
Make a play, honestly. Make a play, get the first down, because I knew how big that moment was in the game, you know. And I'm just glad Tyler, you know, saw me in time, you know, had enough trust in me. And that's another thing, like I said earlier, is our connection. You know, he just has a natural feel. Is like, you know, the pocket's collapsing, let me dump it down to my running back and let's just make a play. Whatever happens, happens. And, you know, I'm glad he trusts me in that situation. And, you know, ultimately I was glad I was able to make a play for the team in a very pivotal moment.
What were the conditions like out there today?
Oh, it was muddy, wet, you know, and that's why, you know, coming out of the first half, you know, it was really important to get the ground game running because it was extremely hard to throw the football. Even though, you know, when we did throw the ball, you know, our receivers came up huge. Tyler's throwing the ball in the money, under pressure. And, you know, those are things you see from winning teams. And it was really positive to see that for sure. And, yeah, it was the field was extremely muddy. And I'm glad, you know, the O-line, they probably have the hardest job in that position. You know, it's like stepping in quicksand every time you're trying to block a guy. So, especially with that type of D-line, like they were really talented and we know what they can do. So it was really cool that we were able to battle those elements for sure. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really slipping and sliding per se, but, you know, the one thing that's obviously the most important is the ball security. You know, it's wet, especially a team like that who has two and plus guys that, you know, have multiple forced fumbles throughout their career. Some of the best to do it in the league. So it was definitely a focus for us. We're talking about it each time we're going on the field, ball security. And, yeah, that's the one thing you definitely have to focus on even more than normal.
We talked about like y'all having slow starts over and over and over again this year to have a big return from tip and then to finish that drive.
Yeah.
Like how important was that to y'all just get off to a fast start?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it all week, and you know, Kellen kind of talked about, you know, in the locker room, like let's start off fast. Like it's important to start off fast, and you know, I think that first initial like punch in the mouth, they're like, okay, they're here, and you know, I think the whole team kind of built confidence off that, and then you've seen multiple stops by the defense when they needed it, and today felt like one of the first times throughout the season where we played, you know, football together, where special teams and offense and defense were all connected to win a game. And, you know, that's the important thing. And you continue to see those strides being taken each and every week to continue to get better. And that's the most important thing about this team and why there's such a bright future for this team as well.
It's kind of a late touchdown call on yours. Like, were you like, did I get my first touchdown here?
Yeah, so I was on the ground. I almost reached it. I think I slightly did. And, you know, they talk about not reaching ball for, obviously, ball security purposes. But I really wanted to get my first. And, you know, I didn't know. They picked me up, and then they said touchdown, so then I had to celebrate. I lost the ball. I think they told me they got it, so that's a good thing, I guess. But, yeah, I don't know if I dropped it, whatever. I kind of just blinked out after that, just wanted to celebrate. Okay. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Great evening, people.
Have you ever been a part of a team that had 5 4-time stops?
Oh, wow. That's how many it was? Yeah, man. We have a high standard for how we play the game defensively. We call it style of play. And I think when it's 4th and 1, that's really where you get a chance to show it. I think we should have had one more. It was real close. I'm just saying, I'm a little biased. But, man, I'm proud of our guys. It really shows our culture. I think nobody wants to be 3-10. Is that where we are now? 3-10. Nobody wants to be there. But not all 3-10s look the same. And what I mean by that is nobody wants to be in adversity. Nobody wants to be in a storm. Nobody wants to be in situations where things aren't going the way that you want them. But you can either lay down in those times or you can show up. And I think when you look at how we play the game defensively, just go back and look at our entire season, but especially these last 3 and 4 weeks where the odds were stacked against us. Like when you turn the tape on, if there's no commentating, just go watch the film. And what it shows is, like, you would not think you're looking at a 3-10 defense. And that's a testament to our front. That's a testament to our second level guys. That's a testament to our back end guys. That's a testament to our coaches. That's a testament to the culture that's being built here. And I'm proud to be a part of it.
I don't want to take anything away from past coaching staffs or rosters, but does that feel different than it did in some Decembers past when you guys were not necessarily high in the standings?
Man, I've been in this game for 14 years. And so in 14 years, I've seen 14 different seasons. And the thing that I can tell anybody, young, old, is you play the season that's in front of you. You play the game that's in front of you. You play the play that's in front of you. And I think we're doing a good job of that. All the breaks haven't gone our way. But as a whole, as a unit, we're continuing to show up. We're continuing to put the work in. And like I said, nobody wants to be in this situation. And this isn't the hand that you want to be dealt or the hand that you want to deal yourself. But as far as our coaches, as far as the players on this team, man, I couldn't be more proud to be a part of a group and coming out and fighting the way that we did. On the road, you got to bring your defense, you got to bring your special teams. I thought our special teams did outstanding. You know, they started us off fast, gave us advantageous field position most of the day. Defensively, being able to get 5 4th down stops. And I'm going to just keep saying it should have been 6. And then our offense, man, just running the ball well, making some big 3rd down plays, scoring in the red zone, putting some big drives together, closing out the game. It was just great complimentary football. And that's, to be the type of team that we want to be, that's how we have to play football.
I like your thumb on 4th and 1, just see there and the different gaps so bad.
Man, that was fun. That was fun. I think it starts with the front. Anytime you get a 4th and 1, it's really just, when you hear the game is won in the trenches, that's what it's talking about. It's our defensive line versus their offensive line. It's like who gets that first strike. And I think because our D-line got such a good push, the lineman couldn't come off, and I was able to shoot through, and it's just, one-on-one with the running back is like a layup. So that was a fun play.
Do you have an assignment you have to follow on those, or do you get to make an educated guess about where you think
You never want to be guessing in football.
Yeah.
It's not going to be good. But generally, as a middle linebacker, I'm going to be fitting somewhere between the tight end and the running back on the play. I think that just simplifies it. So find the tight end, find the running back, and as a middle linebacker, generally I'm going to be fitting somewhere in between there. And I think on that play they end up creating a 3-by-1. So 3-by-1 just means a tight end and 2 receivers. And so at that point, I got to keep my eye on the tight end. I got to keep my eye on the running back. And I seen the running back going downhill, and it was just a little bit of a crease that I could get through there. And like I said, because our defensive line, who's been playing outstanding, our interior defensive line, I think if you just watched them over the past couple of weeks, they have literally shut down all running between the B gaps, and teams are forced to throw screens and run tosses and X, Y, Z. And so there was a little sliver of opportunity, and I was able to get through there and make a play.
I'm going to try not to belabor the point too much on this. I know there's 40 guys who had an impact on today's game.
Yep.
But when a quarterback makes like a really spectacular play late in the game to give y'all a lead, does that mean something to the team?
Oh my gosh, quarterback play in the NFL is premium. It's paramount. That's why those quarterbacks who get those big contracts, they deserve every dollar that they get. Quarterback play is the deciding factor when offenses and defenses are evenly matched. I think it's very hard for a quarterback to just stand in the pocket and just try to beat defensively, beat the defensive like the game of old. I have a ton of respect for all those quarterbacks that did that, but I just think the pass rush is too dominant today, and the schemes are too complex for a quarterback to just be able to beat you in the pocket. And so the quarterback has to be able to read the defense, of course, and think quickly and do all those things, but the quarterback got to have some extra sauce too. They have to be able to keep plays alive with their legs, and they got to know how and when to run. It may be a run to keep the play alive. It may be a run to get the first down. And it may be, when you look at the team we're going against, I have a tremendous amount of respect for Baker Mayfield. And what separates him is that he knows how and when to run. And I think that's why their team has been successful. I think you look at the past 3 or 4 years, they won the division is because of quarterback play. And I think that was a difference maker for us today. We had high quarterback play. Very, very proud of the way, and I thought Chuck did an unbelievable job, and to date, that's who he's been. So.
The ball gets punted, minute 56 left, you have to on the field. Like, what's the messaging? Like, what are you telling people at that point? Like, what was the kind of mission for that group as they go on the field in this stuff?
We've been waiting for it as a defense. We've been waiting for a 2-minute drive to be on us the whole year. That was the first one we got, and so we were ready for it. It's just been a long time coming, and it was interesting that it ended as fast as it did, because most times 2-minute drives don't end that quickly, and so kudos to us. We've been able to execute, but we've been looking forward to it. So it really wasn't. It was like a dog licking his chops.
That is the ideal scenario. It ended on 4 plays.
It ended on 4 plays. Was it just a 4 and out?
Yeah, 4.
Man, so you gotta understand, like, coming off the field, a lot of times, you just dialed in 1 play at a time, and I don't never look at the stats and all of that. So, man, that's interesting that it was just 4 and done. Yes, that's the ideal situation, or take the ball away. But that just doesn't. That rarely happens in the NFL. We know how close of a league we play in, that any Sunday it can come down to any play, and especially in those 1-score games, it goes down to the wire. So we've been like I said, we've been waiting on a situation like that as a defense the entire year, and it's great that our first one went so well.
Going back to Tyler, what impresses you the most about him as a rookie quarterback?
I think he has that. He's shown to have that it factor. What is the it factor? I don't know. What is that thing that separates, some of our top quarterbacks in the league from the rest of the guys? It's that savviness to make heads-up plays. Like, one of my favorite plays with him last week, it didn't go that far, but he was about to get sacked and he dumped the ball off to the tight end. Like, to have that level of ice in your veins, to make plays when plays are could be dead in essence, to save a play, to extend a play, to make big runs and big moments, big third downs, to be able to turn into that pocket passer that can read the defense quick and get the ball out. To have that diversity is what I believe that any franchise needs to be successful in today's game. I just don't think if you don't have that guy at that position that you're gonna succeed. And so it's been great to see him make those plays, and we need him to continue to make those plays.
How much of the work you guys did in the first meeting, short yardage situations, you think carried over today, whether it was a confidence thing or just like a blueprint for?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
How much of the work that you guys did in the first meeting with like the goal line stops, do you think carried over to the game today, whether it was like confidence in your guys to stop them in those situations, or an intimidation factor, or anything like that?
I don't know. I think we take a lot of pride in our style of play, no matter who the opponent is. It just so happened to be that the last time we played them, that we stopped them on a 4th and goal, and we had them on another 4th and goal where they probably got in by some inches. And then today, it was 6 opportunities on 4th down to pull off a stop. And so, you could say they drew the short straw, I guess. But we don't, it's not necessarily them. You can pull out tape and see us doing that against other teams as well. And that's a testament to the guys. I think you don't make 4th down stops without great interior defensive line play. And a lot of those plays, like, we're getting great, play on the edges. Grando with 2 TFLs. Last week it was Kool-Aid came up with a big 4th down stop. So that's just the style of play. That's just how we, I take a lot of pride in teams not being able to go straight ahead. Like, you're going to have to figure out a wrinkle on the outside to get yards.
Do you like playing in the rain?
It's like being a kid. One of my favorite football memories was I was in probably like the 4th or 5th grade, and it was me and my cousins playing 2-on-2 football in the rain. And every time you tackled, it just felt like a highlight, because somebody would go and slide 3 or 4 yards and the water would go everywhere, and it just felt like you knocked somebody out and the helmet came off and the pads was flying everywhere. That's what it looked like, because the rain was splashing. And I just remembered, like, I wanted to savor that moment, because that was like one of the most fun moments that I had had in my life. And I probably had already fallen in love with the game, but I think that made me like, I want to be around this game for the rest of my life. And so when you get those little moments where the rain is coming down, it kind of takes you back to that, like, why you started playing in the first place. And it's just the joy of the game. And I think one of the guys even said that, it might have been Kool-Aid, and he was just like, man, it's like being a kid. We're just playing football. It's like being a kid and playing football and having fun. And I think we have that level of closeness with our group, that's what you see, like I said, when you turn the silent tape on. You see our body language. It's like a bunch of guys having fun. And no matter what our situation is, there's a unique bond that's continuing to show up. And I think that's what I'm proud of, to be leader in a locker room that has that, because you can't buy that.
You feel that this team's getting better with each passing week, right? Like the way you just described, you're talking about the lottery. This team's getting better with each passing week, right? As the season ends.
You can say that. You can describe it as that. I would describe it as we're putting the right ingredients in the pot. Our head coach leads us with toughness together, joy. I think toughness comes from the way that we prepare, and especially being mentally tough. When you're 3-10, you have to have a level of mental toughness and resiliency to continue to show up with the edge that we do. I think togetherness, What you haven't seen, what you see in some teams when things start going left is a bunch of finger pointing or guys go to clicks or be a bunch of stories and all different type of stuff starts to come out. You haven't seen that. That's because we have togetherness. And then it's that joy element. The greatest joy comes from when you're able to put the work in and get the results, and it starts to be momentous. And I think that bled over into our entire team today. I think defensively, for like I said, the past few weeks, we've been able to put together some dominant performances that we were really proud of, and we were able to have that momentum and have that joy. And I think today it just bled over to the whole team, and that felt really good.
How has your head coach helped you on that this year?
Kellen's got ice in his vein. He don't change. You know, win or lose, he comes in the same. He's the same person every day, and I think that's as human beings, you respect that more than anything. You may agree or disagree with somebody, but when somebody's the same person every day, it's like, okay, I can rock with you because I know you're not going to change up on me. And that's how he's been. He's been steady. He doesn't flinch. I thought he did an incredible job of just play calling today and put us in an advantageous position to win the game. I got nothing but good things to say about him. All right, appreciate it.
That was Demario Davis. It just wrapped up there at the podium after the 24-20 win over the Bucs. He said that the team has been building towards this moment. We saw a lot of good in this one. First career touchdown for Devin Neal. Tyler Shuck gets into the end zone himself twice and ends up with 3 total touchdowns on the day for the Saints as they get this victory. And then the defense, they stepped up 5 fourth down stops. So a lot of really good complimentary football happening. Next up is the Panthers. They are 7-6. They're coming off a bye this week, so they're not playing. It's a game that we had success in before.
Yeah.
What do we have to do to have that happen again?
Well, I think the Panthers teams we all see when the Saints play them for some reason, we see a bad Bryce Young and a different Panthers team than the rest of the league gets to see because they went after that loss to the Saints at home, turned around, and Bryce Young throws for 400 yards against Atlanta. So he has that type of ability. And now this division is shaping up. It's going to come down the wire between the Buccaneers and Panthers. And the Panthers know that. You're going to get their best shot. You're going to probably see a little more running game and probably a better Panthers team than you saw last time. But you get them at home in the Dome. And the Saints team, this is a different version of their own team that you're going to see in the Dome as well. So I think it's going to be a good game and a good matchup. And there's a lot on the line for the NFC South.
Yeah, maybe out of it yourselves, but you can play spoiler. And sometimes that's fun to get up for, too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, for Scott Shanley, I'm Erin Summers. Thank you for joining us on the Saints postgame show. We're going to send it to the locker room and hear Kellen Moore's victory speech. And then you can check out all of the coverage that you need on NewOrleansSaints.com the rest of the night and all week as we get ready for that game against the Panthers.
Phases, okay, along this entire game, okay? Let's talk about a couple things. Offense, okay? Devin Neal, 70 yards rushing, 14-yard catch on third down. And we got a quarterback that runs the football, Tyler Shuck, 55 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Talk about start fast, guys. There's no way to start faster than Mason Tipton with that 55. Defense. Grando, 2 tackles for loss. Where's Alante Taylor at the big time? Big time stop at the end, guys. They had a chance, right? Rally, okay? The biggest thing that showed in this game, guys, is your guys' resiliency and ability to play together. That was awesome, okay? All 3 phases playing together. One team has a moment, okay? Lift ourselves back up. The next group responds the right way, okay? Awesome game. Way to respond. That's really, really special. Love you guys. Cam, let's go. Break us down, man.
Let's go. Hey, the world count us out, baby, but we still fighting. We still swinging. They didn't want us to win, but here we are. We say shuck it. Saints on 3. 1, 2, 3.